Welcome. This is an actual play of a role-playing game. All the participants are adults. The content is intended for adult viewers. We strive to keep the content PG to PG-13, but it is a horror story and may contain horror themes. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. It is for us right now, Saturday afternoon, depending on where you're in the world. It's Saturday evening, Saturday morning, or maybe you're not watching us live. It has been a long time since we did episode 1, and I have been super anxious to jump right back in. And I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's just start playing. Now, when we left our 4 Thursday children, the 4 of you were called to the Covenant of the Holy Mother in Bispham, England, western part of the island. You were kind of there under false pretenses. What the Holy Mother believes is you're there as researchers on the architecture of this convent. So you start poking around. Now, of course, you guys are staying at the Dusty Sparrow Inn, where you got to meet the proprietor, Don Gaither. And where we left you is you were outside kind of poking around, looking supposedly at the architecture, but really trying to get a sense of what the deal is in this convent. You came across a woman who you from behind looked at. Extremely well-dressed, beautiful woman with long black hair with ribbons braided within it. And when she stood up, you were surprised to see that she was with child. Very much with child. So we left with Oscar and Anastasia walking towards her, and she is now walking away.
Oscar's going to immediately speak up. Child, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause you to leave. I'll leave if you want to stay here, or would you care to join us?
So she looks at you and she kind of clutches the book she was reading close to her chest, right above her, where her stomach is. And she looks nervously to her left. Now, she's looking to what's behind the convent, around the corner, right? So you're not able to see what she's looking at. And she looks back at you and she just kind of shakes her head and starts walking towards behind the convent. You're still about 20, 30 yards away from her.
What do you think?
I don't know, Anna. That was a weird interaction.
How is she dressed?
She's in a purple dress, very long, obviously made to accommodate her condition. And you can't place it, right? So it's definitely not any fashion you've seen in Britain. It definitely appears to be maybe more Eastern European by the looks of it, but you can tell that whatever it is expensive.
Okay. I think this might be one of the royals that we heard about.
What was she eyeballing over on the other side of around the corner of this convent? I'm going to stand up. Oscar's going to stand up and kind of slowly walk that way and see where she's heading.
Okay.
Anna will follow.
And as you go, you come towards the back of the convent, and you can see fenced a cemetery, which is not that odd. You see children playing, and a nun is there, kind of gathering the children up, trying to take them back into the convent. But the children are of varying ages. There's some that look as young as maybe 2-3 years old, and some older ones, maybe like 7 or 8-ish. And the woman that you saw in the purple dress, the pregnant woman, she is now walking towards them, and you see the nun kind of waving the woman to come to her. At this point, the nun has not seen you, so I'm kind of having you kind of peeking around the corner.
Yeah, as soon as I see the nun, I'm going to stop and take a step back and hold Anna back from continuing. Because I don't want to, Oscar doesn't want to draw attention to anything. Based on what I saw with the children, is there a mixture of boys and girls, or are they all one? Okay. Anna, there's a nun around this corner gathering these children and a lady. I think that's what the lady was shaking her head at us toward to not be seen.
Makes sense. Well, leaves the cemetery open for us to truly examine then.
Let's give it a second, and then we'll peek back around and see if the children and the nun go back inside, because they are going towards each other like they're going inside. So
Yeah, and you can see, and as you kind of peek around, Oscar, you can see that the kids are starting to file back into the door that the nun is opening, and she appears to be waiting also for our mystery woman to also enter the door. I want to cut to Ian and Josh, who are still a good 100 yards away from Oscar and Anastasia, and as you've been so focused on the convent, right, and looking at the architecture, looking in windows, things like that, you kind of miss the incredible view from up here. So Ian, you kind of turn around and look, and you can just, from here, you can see the entire town of Brisbane. You can see the docks, you can see the ocean. It's just a gorgeous view. But something is odd. And at first you go, I wonder if maybe someone's, burning wood, a chimney. Then you realize, no, something's on fire. There is a plume, smoke is rising from within the town. And boy, that looks real close to where the Dusty Sparrow Inn is.
That's concerning. Ian is holding his notebook. He's been taking both actual notes and fake notes in as they've been going. And he's gonna close that kind of in a wait a second as he's putting all the pieces together. Josh, would you agree with my assessment that is larger than a campfire and fairly uncomfortably near to where the inn is?
That is definitely larger than a campfire, and this is definitely our inn. I mean, the inn where we should. What a coincidence, right? That we came here to investigate, and it seems that the inn has some troubles with, let's say, their fireplace. Is it if we focus on the inn, is it full on fire out of the windows, and there is so much smoke that we can't even see properly around it?
Because there's several other there's trees and things, you really are not able to see what is on fire. But Josh, by the size of the amount of smoke that you're seeing, this could be a building fire.
Ian's doing a bit of calculation in his head of okay, we were on a cart coming most of the way here. It took roughly this long. We then had a conversation talking with the Mother Superior. How likely is it that about the time we got here, someone left the convent and went to the town and could have started a fire?
Very possible.
someone, I think, does not want us here, one way or another.
That means that we are stepping on someone's neck per se. So I believe. Okay, do we quickly double back and investigate there, or we see what we can do here? Be nice. Maybe the Mother Superior will see that we're not messing around here, and we'll deal with the inn fire later. Or maybe it's not even the inn.
Well, going back, we won't have a cart. It will be. I'm guessing, but I imagine this is true based on what I'm remembering from last time. Of if we were to run there, like whatever's going to happen has happened at that point. Like we're not going to be able to meaningfully help dashing there from here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you guys were on foot, it would be a good 30-40 minute walk for you.
Okay. Well, troubling as it may be that might be the inn we're staying at with most everything we brought with us. I personally am not a fireman, nor are you or our compatriots, and none of us have a way to get there quickly. So I say, let us make the best use of our time here and deal with that as we need to.
So, Oscar and Anastasia, what are you doing?
I think the moment we see the nun go inside with the children, and at least when we assume this, it's safe to go and investigate, and we want to go look at this cemetery.
Okay. So once they have gone inside, it looks like things are clear, and you guys want to head towards the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's got a small iron gate, or a small iron fence, and a gate that's just open. Looks like it could be closed, but even if closed, you could, almost like step over the fence, right? More marking of a boundary as opposed to trying to keep something in or out. And best guess as you look, maybe there's 30-ish gravestones. They all are very, very similar. And without even going inside, you can kind of see that first row. And based off of the vine growth and the wear and tear on the tombstones, this is an old cemetery. And you're looking at some of the dates, and some of those are all back almost 50 plus years.
What's the average age of the deceased?
It varies. But the majority of them, look like they lived a, what would be a natural life. So, there's, 60 years old. They are all women, at least best as you can guess, looking at the names. A lot of times it'll, say sister so-and-so, sister so-and-so. So it looks like maybe this is where they, when nuns pass, this is maybe where they put them.
Is there a mausoleum or a crypt also inside?
There is not.
So just gravestones.
Yeah.
Is there only one entrance into the cemetery? Is it just a gated, or is there?
Yeah, just that gated area.
Okay.
Do me a favor, Anastasia. I would like to get a observation roll from you, and Oscar, if you want to help, that we can add a die.
I do, yeah. I'll definitely help. 'Cause I think that's what Oscar's going to be looking for.
What is the context of the observation roll?
It's going to be in context of as you're looking, you're outside of the fence and you're kind of looking at the different gravestones.
Okay, so just kind of like scanning it with my eyes. Okay,
Yep.
Great.
Does that work?
Yep. All right.
And give yourself an extra die for the help from Oscar.
Well,
Oh,
I'll just not worry about the extra die.
Yeah, no,
I'll
2
take 2
successes.
6s.
Okay. So for the first success, you do notice one of the stones is newer and does not have anything engraved on it. For your second success, I'm going to looking at the plot and looking at kind of the difference in the grass growth and things like that. This is a relatively new grave. Definitely much, much newer than the majority of the other graves you there. It is unmarked. And based off of how big the hole was, this may not have been an adult buried here.
So we've got. So are these 2 separate, or is this just the
Just the one?
Just the one? Okay.
Yep. And looking through, again, not
Like
even going
red
inside.
stone, fresh dirt, smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. Oscar, be a dear and keep lookout for me.
You got it, Anna. And I turn around and I start keeping an
She's
eye.
going to slip inside the gate.
Okay.
Approach the fresh grave. And she's going to sit down, take out the salt, spread it around her, pull out her crystal ball, which I just realized today gives me a +1 on my observation checks. So the failure would not have happened last time. And perform a seance to look for clues that are less discernible by mundane means.
Okay. Let's do our ritual.
Now, is +1 dice or +1 to the roll?
+1 die. So it gives you an additional die.
Great. Add bonus die. Here we go. Off.
6 dice, 0 successes. You have the ability. So in Vaesen, just like many other games for free, you have the ability to push, in which case you can pick up every die that isn't a 6, in this case all 6 of them, and can roll it again. The only downside is Anastasia would then pick up a condition of my choosing. If you get 4 physical or 4 mental conditions, either set, then you are broken and get a critical. So does Anastasia, as you start the seance, you're having trouble. You're having trouble connecting. You're having trouble focusing.
Oh,
Are you going to let it go, or
she's gonna push?
She's going to pull. All right, let's push.
Oh,
so
thank
you got your success.
Man.
And I'm going to give you a mental condition in a moment.
Okay.
As the world kind of goes away, and you're now in this blackness that we've talked about, right? When the first time you did the seance, you see the gravestone unmarked. You see the dirt that's covering it, same as in the real world. As you push to try to connect and push to try to understand what the significance is and what is buried in this grave, you can almost like you have pushed the dirt away with your eyes. We see a very small coffin, about about 3 feet down from the surface. And Anastasia, somehow you're able to wrap your fingers around this coffin and open it. And it's empty. How do you bring yourself back from the seance?
So the grave is fresh, but the coffin is empty. All right. She will close the coffin, and as it snaps shut, open her eyes. And she's back sitting in her little salt circle.
All right, let's cut back to Ian and Josh.
Ian mentally pushes away the concern of, all right, what all did we bring with us? What do I have on me in case we need to buy a whole new wardrobe and find a new place to stay while we're here? We'll deal with that later. For now, very much just like, come along, Josh, we have a job to do. And returns to looking for like broken windows and any birds nearby for that part of the message we were investigating. Essentially I want to know what, if any, broken or signs of freshly replaced windows we see, and what local birds are there.
So looking around, on the first floor of this convent, you're seeing no indication of windows being replaced or anything along those lines. But as you walk down and look at the second set of windows on the second floor, the second level of this convent from the outside, kind of stepping back, right, so you can see, look up and look at that, you do notice one window is different. It doesn't have the same kind of fogginess and age that a lot of these other windows do. It looks like a newer window.
Mhm.
As far as birds and such, that's odd. We don't see any.
Hmm.
Is it like odd to the extent we would expect at least some birds to be around here? And there's,
Yeah, I
like,
mean, there's trees everywhere, right? There's, things that it could be completely, maybe there just isn't a whole lot of birds around here.
Are we just not seeing any, or do we also not hear any? Like, are we out here and it's...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
And
like
that's, I
that.
think, the first time you go like, wow, it is really quiet.
Yeah, that just switched in Ian's head from, oh yes, this is tranquil and peaceful, totally ignoring the plume of smoke behind him, to that is unsettling, and like has to stop himself from like feeling the back of his neck to like make sure his hackles aren't rising. Like, but we do have the one window. About where on the convent is this? Is more towards the front, more towards the back?
So if you were all the way back and facing the convent at the front door, right?
Mhm.
This would be on the left side of the convent. So let's say that if you were facing north, it would be on the western side of the convent, and about halfway down.
Okay.
is it on the side of the cemetery, or is it on...
So you would have to know it's not facing the cemetery. The cemetery is behind the
Right.
convent. So you're still on the western side. That would be the northern side of the convent, which is where Oscar and Anastasia are. As Anastasia, you open your eyes.
She looks around. She looks specifically for Oscar.
Oscar's still scanning the area. Unless you yipped when you woke up, he has no clue you're looking at him.
She sees him over her shoulder through the gate. Are there any other graves that are unmarked or very young age?
No.
Okay.
No, this seems to be unique.
She will stand up, put the crystal ball back in her handbag, and she will spread the salt about with her feet, like kick it around, and return to Oscar standing, up straight, primly holding her bag, and turn to Oscar and say, "Thank you, love. I think it's best that we meet up with the others. I discovered something that's a little bit unnerving."
Fair enough. Let's go.
So let's have you then turning the corner and running right into Ian and Josh.
Oh, splendid. There you are.
Here we are.
What have you found?
Well, says a couple, like, in case anybody's listening, throw off phrases of, yes, architecture phrase here, interesting different thing here. There appears to have been a slightly different window centered on the west side. Also, something's on fire, but we can't get to it, so don't worry about it now. And definitely, like, slips the last part in, just like,
I'm sorry?
and moving on. What?
Fire?
No, I'm perfectly warm. There appears to be a rather large plume of smoke coming from the town. As best we can tell through the trees, it's maybe near the inn.
But we should focus on the task at hand. I think that's some maybe local boys misdemeanor. You know how these villages are. So we should pay our focus here. And maybe if you will share with us what you have found.
She will point to the cemetery, say, if you look at the end there, that row, that grave, that stone that is unmarked.
Mhm.
Child-sized plot.
Oh, tragic.
Yes, it would be if it weren't empty.
Wait, hold on a minute. Did you enter this? Did you enter the cemetery?
Yes,
Did you
I'm
make
not
sure that
Catholic.
nobody saw you?
Josh, calm down. I've
Oscar
got
did.
this. I've got this.
Okay.
I paid attention this
all right.
time.
Ian's looking back and forth like neither of them have a shovel. You've been gone like 5-10 minutes. How did you... Don't tell me you dug it up.
No.
No. The rash salts helped us.
Understood.
I saw it. I opened the coffin. There was nothing in it. There's usually some form of presence of the dead. Here there was none, which means there was none to be found at that grave. They're hiding something. They're making a show of something.
Yes.
And
And if
Speaking
it's
of
a
appearances-
child-sized, maybe even possibly infant-sized.
And Anastasia, I almost forgot, but can you go ahead and mark frightened on your character sheet for me?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It was extremely unnerving.
Gentlemen, do we know
Something sinister is happening.
And they're keeping up appearances of... My interest is, given how secluded the convent is and how centralized and mistrusting of outsiders they are, who are they keeping up appearances for?
Oh, and by the way, we did run into one of those Eastern European mainland royals who is in a delicate condition.
Ah.
However, I think finding a way to speak to her might be of use to us. She seemed to warn Oscar and I off. If she knew that we were a threat, I don't think she would have been as accommodating.
Agreed.
Intriguing. You hadn't spoken to her at all.
Well, Oscar tried.
Interesting.
It was the
So
body
she's-
language. She could have given us away. She did not.
Yes, I'm intrigued at the decision there. For now, let us use our time, continue to put on our show and gather what information we can. Let us use this time, because when we get back to town, there hopefully is not, but maybe some new trial for us to deal with. And we should do well to gather what information we can while here, so that this archaeological survey is well used.
And remember, gentlemen, we are expected to return in 3 hours, so I would not push our luck, given that we, are on this cemetery. So let's behave nicely and just observe safely and gather our notes. Then we will see what we can make of it.
Ian would pull out his pocket watch, double check the time, and say, "I want us all to meet back at the front door and tell them like 10-15 minutes before the time we're expected to leave."
Okay.
That way, we look good and go, "Hey, we are not pushing the line here. Cool." And we might be able to say, "Oh, look, it is going to take less time than we thought." And as he opens the pocket watch, this is his memento. It has a photo of his mother in it from before she died, and that just has him have a thought of, why must these is it that these Vaesen just kill people, and is that what happened to cause this empty grave? He's toying with thoughts in his head that thinking of his mother makes him think towards.
So what's the plan?
Sounds like continue to split up and keep looking and noting.
Okay. With the plan and keeping the same pairs, just kind of getting in the lay of the land as you go around. So we can actually montage this unless there's anything specific you want to do. You guys, most of the windows are curtained, really nothing to look inside. And Ian, if you're looking for other potential broken windows or newer windows, you only find the one that was on that western side up on the second floor towards the back. Oscar and Anastasia, as you walk around, really nothing stands out. There's a garden, and if you go and check the garden, it looks like a root garden. So it looks like a bunch of root vegetables are being grown there, potatoes, things like that. Nothing odd at all about it. Obviously, being as cold as it is, there's nothing growing there right now. But it's obvious that it's a garden. There also seems to be grapevines. So it looks like potentially that they are cultivating grapes as well. But again, right now, considering the season, completely, bare, the vines themselves. If there's anything specific you want to do, we can talk through that, or we can have you meeting back up front.
I think
Be
Oscar's gonna.
interested roughly about the entrances to the Convent, like since we're basically going around, so I would be interested, let's say, the possible entry points that could be in. I guess there could be one next to the garden for the people who are farming there or who are taking care of it. That's
On each side, so it's a very large rectangular building, right? On each side, there's at least 2 doors that would allow someone to come in or out of the convent. None as grand as obviously the main entrance itself was.
So Oscar's going to be looking on the outer perimeter of the fence line or whatever that outer limit is, trying to pretend like he's getting like a back overview, like looking at the convent itself, but he's really observing what is going on the outer areas that might, if there's anything out of the ordinary.
Nothing stands out really. You can definitely tell that the grounds are very well kept, because as soon as you kind of get past a certain point where you get into the thicker forested areas, it's wild back there, right? And I think it makes you realize just how well kept and maintained the grounds of this convent are. I think you noticed the same thing Ian did, is that there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of noise coming from the forest, as you might expect, at least to hear kind of that low din of life. Now that could be a function of the season, but I think that silence stands out to you as well.
Are there any outlying buildings or sheds or maintenance quarters or any kind of groundskeeper, anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Another thing Ian would definitely make sure to do, as he is like taking little notes here and there, is he is going to take some time and like looking for any particular interesting standout architecture, again with the mixture of things. He's going to sketch a few things. With that, he's going to make sure he gets like that window. He's sketching that window and sketching the one next to it just to show the differences as well as he can. Like he's rich enough to be an idle rich, but he's not like an artist. So
Sure.
Yeah, we'll call it a hobby, but it's not he's not making money off this.
Yep.
But he'll make sure to do that. This arch is interesting. It's different than that arch. Taking good questions that way. If anybody wants to like ask to see the notebook or ask him about it, he will have things to say that are not, yeah, we snooped around and we found stuff I'm not talking to you about.
And what's up with the grave?
Yes, we have grave questions for you, Mother Superior. So yeah, essentially montage that of gather information, including what we're actually supposed to be here about until time.
And as the 4 of you kind of come back around to the front, knowing that you've got about 5 or 10 minutes to closing, right? Where Sister Nola made very clear that she expected you to be there. You've had a good hour or so, though, to walk around and do all of this investigating. As you turn the corner, speaking of the devil, there is Sister Nola, patiently waiting for you. And you can see before she sees you, she's very focused on a pocket watch. She seems to be being very focused on the time.
Ah, Sister Nola, walking up. A pleasure.
Were you
again.
able to get a sense of the outside architecture?
Yes, it is quite interesting as we expected. I have a number of sketches of the different styles seen here.
May
This
I?
is an excellent start. Yes, and he will show her the sketches. He has been making sure to have the sketches on separate pages than the notes that are actually for us. Those are in an entirely different part of the notebook. And he'll, oh yes, you see, this was on the eastern side. That this arch here is all excellent build, but it's a different style than this section over here on the newer wing.
And you'll find it's very unique to this convent. And she starts babbling on about getting kind of geeky with you a little bit about the architecture stuff, and you know just enough to kind of stay with her and to fashion off of it. And as you are engrossed in this conversation, and it's keeping her attention as well, Josh, Oscar, and Anastasia, it appears the smoke is no longer rising from the town. There's a carriage coming, and you can see it coming from a long ways away because it's a very long road leading up to the convent. And I'm thinking, Josh, you recognize it, and it appears to be a police carriage based off of the shape and the build. And let's have it maybe has about 2 minutes based on its speed and distance before it reaches the front of the convent.
So say, Sister Nola, do you often have police as visitors over here?
No, that's very odd. In fact, I think that is, yeah, that's the Constable Fawkes. I have no idea why Constable Falk would come up here. Do me a favor. I'd like. Can I take you in? And have some tea ready for you in the sitting room. And
that would be delightful if it would not be any trouble.
no, not at all. Not at all. And she's kind of trying to shepherd you quicker than maybe you would normally to kind of get you into the convent. Are we acquiescing?
Yeah,
we will follow nicely.
Oscar's going to follow. Go ahead.
Sorry. Anna will acquiesce, but she will also say, do you think it has something to do with that fire over there? And she'll point towards the town and the smoke.
So the smoke's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then she'll say, have anything to do with that smoke earlier?
Smoke?
Yes, there was some smoke coming from the town.
Oh, dear. And she kind of looks and she goes, yes, and she points, and there seemed to be a small remnant of smoke where she goes, and she goes, well, it looks like it's been taken care of. That's good, but oh my, I hope that's not the inn.
We should hope
Do you
so
think
as well.
it would be? Do you think it would be the end? Did this happen in the past, or maybe they have some issues in their kitchen there? Maybe not enough safety with the fire. You know how these things are.
I wouldn't know. I know that Mr. Gaither keeps had a tremendous amount of pride in that inn, and it's been in his family for generations. I can't imagine he would allow it to go to disrepair. I hope for him that it isn't the inn, or if it is, that they were able to get it out before too much damage. No, but please, let me take you in.
Anna will, in response to Nola, say, yes, this would be the best place to pray for all of them, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Quite right.
Yes, of course. I'm sure. And maybe that's that's why the constable is coming up is to let us know what this was all about. So please. And she shepherds you into kind of this beautiful tiny sitting room. There's books on the wall. The furniture is from all over Europe and just priceless. And I mean, you've seen really nice furniture, and this is like, wow, this is incredible, just gorgeous. Everything is engraved and so much detail. She brings you tea, and she steps out.
does she? What does she say when she steps out? Like, is it just a quick, "I have other things to do. Excuse me," or
She actually doesn't say anything. She just kind of prepares the tea and, make sure everybody has the sugar and the milk or what everybody needs, and then she just kind of leaves.
hmm.
So if I
Before
just listen by the door, do I hear her like hastily walking away somewhere down the hallway and then
Yeah, you can tell
nothing?
Josh she's definitely headed back towards the front.
Sorry, my headphones died, and so I had to switch headphones. But I wanted to jump in there real quick before she left.
Oh yeah.
Oscar's going to say, Sister Nola, I'm so sorry, but an old man, is there a restroom somewhere nearby?
Oh dear.
Where?
Of course. Of course. Please follow me. And Oscar, she takes you down the hall, and this is taking you away farther down from the main entrance where you came in. And she goes, "Oh, but yes, yes." And she goes, "Just know, it is not common for us to have men visitors. This will definitely be used by the other nuns. So, and she's kind of looking at you, Oscar, and you're getting a look that you have gotten in your life before, which is she's trying to be delicate. She's trying to be polite, but she is looking down on you as kind of a different class than her, right? I just ask that you keep it tidy.
Sister Nola, no worries. I've spent some time in places, and I've been housed in places like this before. I'll do my part. Don't worry about that.
And you can find your way back.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. You go to the
Going
restroom.
in.
We don't
FYI,
need to
I don't have
roleplay
to go to
this.
the bathroom. No. I'm here to snoop, just to let you know.
Wowzer.
Yep.
I'm going to listen to see if I can hear her trotting through the hallway to get a moment of some quiet.
Yep.
Actually, was the door quiet, or did it squeal and screech when
it was
it
quiet.
opened? So once I hear her and I feel comfortable, I'd like to kind of poke my eye out and see if anybody's around in the hallway.
So you can see the front entrance from here. The hallway extends, and you can tell that the hallway extends all the way from the front to the back of this convent. So it's like this main central hallway, right? And looking towards the front entrance, you can see Sister Nola talking to, in every aspect, a very large man in the type of constable uniform that you would see in London. And he's large, as in like just over 6 foot tall, but also likes his cakes, right? So he's got he's got a large waist. And I think the thing that's most striking is the facial hair. It's a little out of control. He's got these huge bushy muttons on either side of his cheeks, and what looks like a small dog's worth of mustache under his nose. The type of big bushy mustache that belies maybe there is not even a mouth under there. Right? It just dominates his face. But he has, the bare chin. And you see them talking, and then she motions with him, and they start down the hallway towards where you guys were having tea. They're walking together.
Does this room have other entrance or just the door we came in?
There's one other door, and it appears to be like a closet, Josh, as you open it up. Looks like maybe there's like a bucket in there, a broom,
right.
so maybe used to kind of tidy things up by the staff or by the nuns. If there's, we haven't seen any staff, so it's probably maintained by the nuns. Want to know is Oster going to do anything as they are walking down the hallway?
Oscar's going to try to stay out of sight. And if they're heading towards him, he's going to close that door and
Mhm.
listen to see if they pass him. And if so, wait to kind of figure out where they're going, because Oscar wants to eavesdrop.
So the door to the tea room opens, and there is Anna with this very large constable. And she goes, "Gentlemen and lady, I'd like you to meet Constable Falk. He is in charge of the police here, and really, it's just you, isn't it, Constable?" "It can be sometimes. It can be sometimes. Oh, I was told that where's I thought there was 4 of them. It's my understanding there was 4 of them." She goes, "Yes. One is at the restroom. In fact, he's been there for a good bit. Is that common?"
He takes his time.
Yeah, it is quite common. Yeah,
Especially if he's trying to keep tidy.
we are very sorry
Oh,
for this.
wonderful. Well, I'm going to go check on him. Constable, I'll be right back. No, of course. Yes. So, I have some unfortunate news. It's my understanding you were staying at the inn.
Yes.
Is that correct, Will?
Indeed.
There appears to have been an accident of some sort, and poor Gaither's place has burned to a condition that, unfortunately, I will not be able to allow anyone to stay there. Now,
Was anyone injured? Is Mr. Gardner okay?
No. Mr. Gaither, he was very, very conscious of everybody. In fact, he was able to get everybody out without any difficulty. And I brought your things. He cleaned your rooms out, and he had it outside here, and he planned to have them, there for you when you get back. And I mentioned to him that I'd like to go up to the convent. It's odd to have a fire like that happen with, coinciding with 4 strangers coming into town, and just wanted to get a better understanding of why you're here. But I have all of your cases in the carriage.
Well, given the nature of the news, that despite the wonderful inn burning, that is everything else that you've just told us is excellent. I was very concerned for loss of life or limb or our things. Wonderful. Please sit with us, Constable. Have some tea. It's quite delightful. We are here.
And he's kind of looking around, and he doesn't feel comfortable sitting in any of these chairs. So he kind of is sizing each of these chairs up and looking at it, and no. I think I'll stand. Thank you. I think I'll stand.
Very well. We are here to, and I give him the spiel of we're here on part from the university to look over the unique architecture and blending of different cultures' architecture of the convent. We had spoken with Mother Superior, and she was very nice enough to give us some time today, and we were hoping to have a further meeting with her as we have finished our survey of the outside initial survey. That's a good term.
And if you don't mind, I want to take some notes. And
certainly,
he opens up his jacket and reaches in to take out a small pad and a pencil to take notes. And Anastasia, as you see him open his jacket and reach in, you can see on the inside pocket something that I think only you would recognize. And that is in the pocket, just above the pocket where he's grabbing the pencil, is what appears to be kind of a burlap small sack. right? So imagine about something that would fit in the hand, right,
Mhm.
into a single hand. And what makes it stand out to you is that it's wrapped closed. It's kept closed not by a rope or any type of tie, but by some sort of dried herb is keeping it closed. And the reason you recognize it is that is something that is definitely more of a kind of a Romani type thing, right?
Is it a
And it's what
poultice?
it's what's that?
Is it a poultice?
I don't know what that means. It's so sharp.
Go ahead.
but what it signifies is medicine of some sort, right? But not one that would be
That's what
prescribed.
would poultice.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's usually a wrapped in some kind of burlap or animal skin or something like that, but stuffed with herbs and stuff like that. Yeah.
And
Okay.
by no means is he trying to hide it or anything like that. You just said, hey, he opens up the jacket, pulls out that, and you notice this in particular because of your background.
Okay.
And he's asking you standard, tell me your names, where you're from, blah, blah, blah. The professor, like, how long have you been at the school? How long do you plan on being here? And at one point he goes, well, with the inn in this condition, I assume, would you like me to have a carriage arranged so you can head back to London?
Back to London.
Do you know how expensive this was? Do you mean like there must be some other way? We have to figure out how we would lose quite substantial amount of money here, and we need to finish our this is for the architecture. It's quite unique for this place. We've invested a lot of time. We cannot just go back to London.
My good constable,
One
to
second,
put it another way.
Oscar?
Yeah.
Sir, are you okay? Sir?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I'm all finished here. I'm so sorry. By the way, is there anything noticeable worth messing with? Slipping in a pocket in this pretty plain Jane?
Yeah, nothing really stands out in your looking around there, Oscar.
Not even a magazine.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and open the door and say, I'm so sorry for the delay. I'm a weak old man, and it just took a second, and I want to make sure it was tidy for you.
That's fine. So Constable Falk was actually here to see you. He's in the tea room talking to your three friends. I think I would head that way if I were you. I believe he would love to also talk to you. She is having this conversation and trying not to be obvious about it, but you can see that she's kind of leaving the door to the bathroom open and like looking to up and down, just make sure. And she kind of gives a little bit of a nod and closes it because you kept your promise.
Oscar's gonna be 2 steps ahead of her while heading to the quote unquote tea room.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any doors on that side of the wall between us and the tea room that I'm going to go into the first one I can see, assuming it's the tea room.
Okay.
Right. And I'm like leaning into it, not like slowly reach. It's walk straight and instantly grab the handle and walk in like I know exactly where I'm going when I really know it's not.
Yeah, so you open the door like this is the tea room door, right? This is like I'm going exactly where I said to go. And as you open the door, you realize it leads to yet another hallway that appears to be running instead of the north-south that this hallway is. This runs east-west, and you can see it extends a long way. And she goes, sir, no, sir. That area is not for you at all. That is where the bedrooms are. That entire western wing here is devoted to housing the nuns. And sir,
Sister, I'm so sorry. It's the next
The
one.
next
Yep.
door. Yes, the next
Yes.
door.
My apologies. And I give one last glance to see anything I can see of note, and we'll go as slow as possible, taking in as little or as much as that's there.
And uncomfortably, the tea room door's open, right? So as you get there, you can see your the three of them talking to the constable. So as I was saying, I just don't know where you possibly could stay.
My good constable, I understand and appreciate what a predicament this puts you in. We are therefore in a similar one, and to be straightforward while being polite about it, I would rather buy a house here than go through the rigmarole of trying to pry grant money out of the university again.
Oh, you Londoners, I'll tell you, think you could just buy the whole town, don't you? But I understand what you're saying. Let me, if it's okay, I will see if talk,
Oscar.
discuss things when you get back to the town. Oh, yes,
Uh,
yes. And you
uh,
must be Oscar.
I'm Oscar, constable. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
But and I look at Sister Nola. I go, Sister, you must have accommodation for somebody in need. I know for a fact that our fellow convent in our hometown took me in once and um, uh, really helped me get to where I'm at today. I received an education because of the encouragement from our local convent and what they've done with the community. There must be a room that we could share or something that we can, it's better than staying on the street because there's no way we're going to find another place. You must have a place that we could. You saw how well I took care of the restroom.
And quite frankly, if we would be being bussed back and forth here to London or wherever the next town would be that we could stay, our process would take so much longer with the hours per day eaten up by the carriage rides, you understand. And I would hate to put that extra bother on the Mother Superior's time.
So I'm in love with all of this, and there's no roll. So she puts her hand kind of on, like in a very loving way, on your chest, Oscar, and she goes, "I'm so glad that the church has been there for you, and I will talk to Mother Superior. It will have to be delicate, though. The lady could, of course, stay with the nuns in the western wing. We'd have to find a separate area for the three of you gentlemen to stay. Obviously, we would want you in no way interacting in anywhere near for appearances. We would not want you. We'd want you separated, of course, and I hope you understand that. But I will talk to Mother Superior, and bless you, son."
I go in for a hug. The most
Gee.
uncomfortable hug.
Oh, no.
Anastasia at the back of the room will pull out her flask, take a sip, and under her breath whisper, "Son of a bitch."
So
Last thing she wants to do is spend the night in a convent.
the constable goes, "Well, that solves that then, doesn't it? That's wonderful. What I will do is I will leave your things here. Obviously, because you'll be apparently staying here, which is amazing. But I do need to get going. I appreciate all of the information. If I have more questions, I obviously now know where to find you. And please, if you need something, please come right down to the town. And you'll find me there." And as he starts to leave, Please.
Ian would say before he leaves, like, very, very much thank you, Constable. You've been a tremendous help. You're a pillar of the community, I'm sure. And thank you for bringing our things. Should you see Mr. Gaither before we have the chance and the privilege to do so again, kindly extend to him our warmest sympathies and gratitude to him for saving our things.
Of course, and if you were going to be throwing any money around, of course, I think it's going to be quite expensive for Mr. Gaither to refurbish that. So I would you consider the charity you're receiving here and maybe extending it further towards him. Wonderful. And Sister Nola, thank you so much. And Sister Nola goes, of course, Constable Falk, and please, just know we're praying for your wife. I appreciate that. And he steps out.
Oh, may I?
Go ahead.
Anastasia would actually like to ask the constable, if you don't mind, sir, I would like to walk with you back to the carriage to get my valise personally. There's some fragile items, if it's okay with you.
No, that's fine. Sister Nola, she goes, normally I would not allow a woman unaccompanied in partnership with a man go like this, but Constable, you are of superior character, and I have no concerns. Well, thank you. So please, ma'am, yes. And the two of you start walking towards the front.
She will take his arm.
And he's a little uncomfortable with that, but he allows it.
My sympathies, sir. Is your wife ill?
Yes, she's been ill for a good bit. Coming on a year now, we have been just unable to have it diagnosed. I've even taken her to London, and she's slowly withering away. And I just hope that she can make it to the other side.
Is it consumption?
That is what I assumed first. But no, the doctors can't tell. And if anybody was going to catch it and it was contagious, it would have been me. I'm with her and take care of her all the time. So I don't know what it could possibly be, but she's getting weaker by the day.
I'm so sorry. I assume that it's... and she will gently, with her gloved hand, pat his pocket. And she says, I assume that that's what this is for?
Oh, and he opens up and he goes, well, of course, yes. The midwife. The midwife has been very, very generously giving me medicines that, quite frankly, who knows how much it's extended her life. But yes, that it's her own little mixture. A tablespoon in the morning tea. Every morning it dissolves right away. Not quite sure what it is. It has a bit of a smell to it. But yes. That's Miss Tuscan's work.
Miss Tuscan. And is she live in the town proper? Does she live off on the outskirts?
Just outside, and a wonderful woman.
And she lived in the town her whole life as well?
Oh yes, in fact, her mother was a midwife as well.
Oh, I see.
There's no knowing of a father. She just her and her mother for the longest time, and she is, since her mother has passed, she's carried it on.
My own mum was a midwife, so, and trained me in some of the practices, of course. Would you be a dear and tell me, at this point, I assume we're close to the outside, or overlooking that. Where is her home? I would very much like to consult with her about An ailment of my own.
And he points it out to you, and essentially it's about maybe a quarter of a mile just outside the town proper. Gives you very clear directions. It says, again, wonderful woman. She's been a blessing for him and his wife. He unloads your luggage and sets it nicely there at the front. And Miss Nola, let's have her showing up, bringing Ian, Oscar, and Josh for you guys to collect your things. And she says, "Now, again, Miss Anastasia, I can take you to the dorms." And we've asked one of the nuns, one of the sisters is going to bunk and leave, and you can have her room. And then for the gentlemen, we have you set up just outside of the kitchen. We've got beds being brought in and it cleared out for you. It's not going to be the nicest of of accommodations, but hopefully, we'll save you from having to go back to London, and so you can finish your research.
Thank you, sister.
Very, very much appreciated.
Splendid, sister. Anastasia will pick up her valise, turn to the constable, and put her hand out like this to shake his, and say, "You have my thoughts and my prayers to you and your wife, good constable."
But I thank you very much. Thank you very much. And like I said, if any of you need anything, you know where to find me.
Likewise.
And click clack, hops into the carriage and gives a little twitch to the horse and heads out. Now, the sister here, and she turns, and we see Sister Potter. The sister here, she will take you to your accommodations, gentlemen, and Miss Anastasia, if you'll follow me, I can take you to the door.
Splendid. Gentlemen. She nods and follows Nola.
And the kitchen is towards the back. She takes you to the hallway where Oscar barged in and takes you there, and actually ends up going up a flight of stairs. So it's going to take a little bit for you to get to the dorms. For Ian, Josh, and Oscar, though, you now have Sister Potter with you. And she goes, "I can't believe that they're going to allow you gentlemen to stay here, but I think it's good. I think it's good. Horrible things are happening. Horrible things are happening, and I really do hope that you can resolve this." And she's being very hushed.
When you're saying Sister Potter, is this the one we got the letter from?
Correct.
Carter.
No, I'm sorry, Sister Carter. My fault.
Got it. No worries. Just double checking.
Yeah. This is Ruth.
Cool. Well, to borrow an aphorism, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
And tonight, just be careful. It mostly is happening at night.
Is there any time or specific area it's been happening around?
It does seem to be very, very close to one of the dorm rooms that's left empty. Partially, I don't know why. To be quite honest with you, I don't know if it's ever been used. And it's escalating. The birds, the breaking of windows, the things going missing, being stolen, the sounds of voices and footprints walking when there's no one there. It's very disconcerting, and quite frankly, I don't understand why
no one seems to be doing anything about it. At times it makes me feel like I'm crazy. I'm being dismissed left and right, but I'm telling you, something is off.
Understood. We'll do what we can. You mentioned the windows breaking. Outside today, I only noticed the one on the western side on the second floor. Where are the others that have broken?
No, it's been that window over and over again.
Repeatedly. Oh.
Yeah.
And that, I
Is it the
assume,
window?
is to the room?
Yeah.
Yes, the dorm room. Yes. Yeah, the unused dorm room.
And there's an unused dorm room where things are happening that no one will talk about. And yet they're having one of the other sisters bunk together so Anna can have her own room that is not that room, I assume. That is interesting.
And this is on the second floor, right?
Correct.
Are there any stairs or any access to the second level near the kitchen?
Yeah,
Near
at the very front, near the main entrance, there's a kind of a grand stairway that leads off to kind of the main entrance area that leads to the upstairs.
Are there any other entrances that might be less open?
Well, I don't think it's appropriate for you gentlemen to be in the western wing.
Fair enough.
Now, the good news is apparently Miss Anastasia will be staying in the dorm. So I think your best. It's best that none of you men are seen here. I can't imagine what Mother Superior would do if she knew any gentleman was in the dorm areas.
Yes, we would not presume to further push that boundary which we have lucked into. Can you do us a favor and fill in the details that you just told us to Anna sometime tonight?
I will try. I will try. I don't know if I'll have access to her or not, but I will try. Let's cut to.
And I have one
Oh,
more
go ahead,
thing
Josh.
I would like to ask. Is there, before these events that are happening, did you notice something that maybe not so aggressive that is happening before in the night? Like maybe it's a gust of wind, maybe it's some uncommon smell that you would hear before, something that would give this away before the actual thing is happening, before maybe you hear the footsteps, or maybe before the birds are flying.
It's been happening for well over a year, and before it was, I was not, I didn't, I just things would go missing, and then we would find them again in a different area, and then there was, it's been like a slow boil, Mr. Josh, a slow boil, and just slowly escalating, and I reached out to Hawkins when I started hearing things like the footsteps, and the windows now are getting broken almost on a weekly basis. That window is being broken just by birds flying into them. And but no, there doesn't seem to be any sort of portend at all that indicates when this is going to happen. And many a night there's nothing, but other nights it's just getting worse. I hope you understand.
And how long ago was the last event that happened? Was it a few
The
days or a week?
last I witnessed was 3 nights ago.
3 nights ago.
3 nights ago was the first time I had heard voices. But no one was there.
Sister, when we were making our rounds, we noticed a newer grave out at the cemetery in the back. Do you have any information on that at all?
I don't. I am not in any way a part of the orphanage. I know that a child did pass about a year ago. But no, they keep me separate. Many of us, only a few sisters are allowed to work with the children, and that entire that entire endeavor there. So, no, I know nothing in that. In fact, I've never even met any of the children. But yes, I believe it was about a year ago that one of the children's passed.
Oh, that's unfortunate to hear.
I didn't realize you had an orphanage here as well, because I believe that's the first we've heard that term. Yep.
Oh yes, 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 we do. It is something that that Mother Superior. Oh, I guess we're coming on a good decade now that she's had this orphanage here. And from my understanding, it is a beautiful. Of course, they're getting a good Catholic education. Each of these children are, and but yes, yes,
Well, that is a most charitable endeavor.
she is a difficult woman, but I do believe she's doing God's work.
Excellent. Well, unless anyone has anything else, I believe we're ready to be shown to our accommodations so we can stay out of everyone's way.
And you've got essentially like prison beds have been set up for you inside of this large storage closet. You guys are almost stacked on top of each other, and she apologizes. It's the best we could do. Anastasia, as you're walking with the sister, and you're now at the dorm level up on the second floor on this western wing. She explains to you, that we expect everybody to be in their dorm by 9 p.m. Soon after dinner, of course. All of you, you can eat with the nuns, and we'll have food brought to your gentlemen friends. We of course expect all the nuns, and unfortunately, we'd expect you to stay in your room until morning, when of course we will come and get you, and we can reunite you with your friends.
Very well.
So he takes you down the long hallway, takes you to the storm room. And it's small, right? It's got a bed, it's got a chair and a desk, a small bookshelf. But you can tell fresh sheets. The bed is made for you. And she goes, we will be having dinner, of course, at 7:30, and I will come up here in an hour to get you. Okay?
Sounds wonderful. So I will be bunking alone.
Of course, yes.
Splendid. Thank you very much, sister. Oh, and by the way, what is on the menu for this evening?
I honestly do not know. It's always a surprise. In fact, I'm trying to think. I think Sister Antha is in charge of the menu today, and she's always very creative.
Ah, splendid. Thank you, sister. And Anna will close her door.
Let's take a quick 10-minute break. Let's break here. Let's take a quick 10 minutes, and we'll be right back. So, Anastasia, you're left in this room alone.
First thing she'll do is look at the books that are on the little bookshelf. What's there?
A Bible, of course, and there's. Let me think. What kind of books would be here? So you definitely would have a Bible, a hymnal, maybe some history books, for centered mostly on British history. Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna sit down.
Oh, and the Necronomicon. I forgot about that.
Oh, great. I thought this binding felt like human flesh.
So supple, they've oiled it.
Ew.
Damn it. All right. Anastasia's gonna sit down at the little desk. She will take out her flask and pour herself a little snort. And she will light a cigarette. And any of the books about local folklore?
There are not.
Okay.
There are not. And what are our gentlemen going to be doing? And you've been quarantined to this tiny little storeroom converted into a dorm room for the three of you. Is there anything you gentlemen are going to do between now and dinner time?
I'm assuming if we try to help with dinner, they'll just shoo us back in here.
Yeah, in fact, this kitchen is not this. There must be a second kitchen you'd have to assume, because this kitchen is not being used.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so we're in a storeroom behind the kitchen. Kitchen is basically empty, not used.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it leads
Um,
back to the main hallway that is stretching
Mhm.
out from south to north. Yeah.
Once they're alone, Ian is going to just I know what I should have asked, Sister Carter. The voices she heard. Women? Children? Multiple people? Like, and are they? Can she understand the words? Like anything like that?
Oh, you're right.
My mind is going.
So there's a knock at the door, Anastasia.
Anna will take one last drag of the cigarette, put it out, and then approach the door, put her hand on the handle, and say, "Yes? Who is it?"
It is Sister Nola. It's time for dinner. I
Oh,
can take you down.
Splendid, splendid. And she will open the door and present herself
And
in front.
you see Sister Nola's face. About a second after that door opens, she goes, "My dear, have you been smoking?
Yes.
There will be none of that here in the dorms. I should have been clearer.
My apologies.
But please, come." And you're taken to a large dining room, still part of the Western Wing, still part of this dorm area, but on the first floor. And at the very end of a very long table, we have, of course, Mother Superior. Most of the nuns are at this long table. You're seated next to Sister Carter, and you're brought a stew, like a potato stew, which, taking the first sip of it, Anastasia, is exceedingly bland.
She'll take a little bit of the pinch of the salt from
Nice.
her handbag and just lightly sprinkle it in, mix it up.
If we've learned anything about Vaesen, is bring salt. And there's a knock at the door for the storeroom, and you open it, and there is a nun, and she has got a tray with 3 bowls.
Thank you very much. And I receive it, take it in. Is there, how best to put this? Where would the best place to go for an after dinner pipe be? I wouldn't dream of indoors, but is there a best door to slip out of and be able to come back in easily after dinner?
I would assume, of course, we would not want you smoking, of course, here inside the convent. But no, I think if you went out front, maybe, or around the corner, there's a garden around back. I would be wary. I don't know if Mother Superior would want. She might see that as sinful, so I would be discreet.
Understood. Thank you very much.
And she leaves. Anything we're going to do, nobody is talking in this dining room, Anastasia. Everybody's face forward. And they all seem to be pacing themselves to Mother Superior.
Similar to royals with the queen.
Synchronized stew spoons.
When she starts, they start. When she finishes, meals over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anna will eat the soup. Keep an eye out for Sister Carter. Is she anywhere nearby?
Yeah. In fact, she's sitting right next to you.
Okay. There's no even idle chatter. Okay.
This is the point where Robert's having bad thoughts.
Yeah.
We're all just
I-
sitting here
I-
going,
sorry,
what buttons is he going to press?
I was in the room when the orphanage was discussed. That was before I was brought up, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Mother Superior.
Everybody freezes. Mother Superior looks up from her stew and just stares at you.
I did not know that there was an orphanage here.
Sister Carter puts her hand on top of your hand. No response from Mother Superior, but she is giving you the death stare.
Anna will look around. Say, apparently my speaking has been some kind of offense. Do not mean it to. I just can't imagine God wanting his creatures to live in perpetual silence.
Your hand is getting squeezed tightly by Sister Carter.
Perhaps another time. She'll take another spoonful and slurp very loudly.
And her hand leaves yours. And she's kind of like giving you the side eye. Everybody, all the other sisters are like, as soon as Mother Superior starts eating again, you can feel the tension in the room drop back down. Like it's almost like all of them exhale at the same time, and they'd all been holding their breath.
You put an occultist in a convent. What do you want?
So as soon as Mother Superior finishes, and if it's okay with you, Anastasia, I'm going to have you not finished, but your bowl is taken from you, as is from all the other sisters, as soon as Mother Superior finishes. And excuse me, Sister Nola comes up to you and she goes, "Let me take you to your room."
Very well. Lead the way.
And she takes you up to the room. You were instructed, gentlemen, when you finish, just to leave the tray outside the door.
As we did.
We of course had idle chit chat during dinner. It was very nice.
Lucky sons of bitches.
All right. So before 9 o'clock, which it's been made very clear that nobody's to be doing anything after 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is when things are. So anything we want to do here for these next 45 minutes between now and this 9 o'clock hour that was made very clear to Anastasia as well as the three of you gentlemen.
I'm imagining, since it's in the colder months, that it's already dark outside.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I imagine it would be time for that pipe.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring up to you who would care to join me for a pipe outside, or to hold the door while I'm out. I would hate for something to happen where the doors might be locked while outside. I understand that the nuns value their privacy.
Yeah. Oscar speaks up and says, Charlie needs to go outside, so I will join you.
Excellent.
Bit of fresh air after dinner. Yeah, let's go.
Wonderful. Um, I would be looking for the closest door. So again, we're not bothering the
Mhm.
convent as much as possible, and checking it for like, is it lockable? Is it currently open? Nope, no lock on this.
Nope.
Interesting. Is it? Is there like a bar you can pull down inside? Okay, all right. All right, yeah. Just slip out, get a little a ways from the building, and you know, looking around, making sure I'm not being seen. Like light up a pipe real quick, just. But
And do we let? Oh, go ahead.
but also while I'm doing this, listening to see or any differences I notice at night, especially with the wildlife, or is there any other strange sounds that weren't there during the day?
No, just crickets. Just
Hey,
regular. Yeah.
that is more life that we heard from the forest than before.
Correct. Correct. So poor Charlie. Are we going to let Charlie relieve himself?
Oh, 100%.
And the longest pee. Like that poor dog. But he was
Right next to
good.
the grapes.
He was good. But yeah, he's finding a couple trees that he wants to leave messages for later. All right. Marking those different areas.
Are there anybody? Is there anybody outside that we can see? Are there any? I imagine with it being dark, we'll be able to see light coming through the windows, whether
Mhm.
they're covered or not. Is there any that might be exposed that we could see into?
No, I think that we've got curtains on all
Curtains
the
all
windows.
drawn. Okay, that was the extent of what Oscar would probably be looking for.
Okay.
I haven't asked this specifically yet. The windows are all clear glass, or do we have any stained glass? And if so, what design or like images do we have there?
You did not see any exterior stained glass windows.
Okay. I would at least like note that down in the serious part of my book, being like, oh, weird for a not a church, but a church adjacent building to not have some kind of stained glass. That's kind of weird.
I do want to show Ian where the restroom is on the way back in. And if he obliges, I will not go in with him, but I will sneak around and be observant of what
Okay.
else goes along that hallway, and if there's any doors worth of any interest.
Yeah. So you check a couple doors while Ian is relieving himself in the bathroom. And keep it tidy, Ian.
Naturally.
Nasty.
Yeah. So you find. What would we find?
Put the seat down here.
Let's have you find a library. And are we going to go in the library or?
Yes. Okay. I'm going in the librry. I'm looking
right.
for a men's room.
Okay, so you head into the library. There doesn't appear to be any other doors. So no men's room in here, but there is a voice that you hear and it goes, "Can I help you, sir?" And you turn around, so none you haven't met yet. Are you lost?
No. Hi, my name is Oscar. I must say thank you so much for sharing your place, but I'm waiting on my friend to use the latrine, and I will use it shortly after. But
You need to wrap up. And she's kind of pulls out a little pocket watch and looks. She goes, "It is almost 9:00, and the expectation is that you'll be in your dorm."
yes, ma'am, that's not a problem. What's your name?
Sister Anne.
Sister Anne, nice to meet you. How long have you been here at this convent?
So she's a little bit older woman. She's got white hair that you can see peeking out from under the habit, and um, your guess would be she's maybe early 60s. She says, "I've been here my entire adult life." Now, would you like to grab a book to read tonight?
Yes, please, please. We came unprepared to stay here, so I greatly appreciate that. Uh, do you have any recommendations, or are there anything? We're here about history. Is there something that might help us with some of the?
Well, of course, there's one book I would recommend. I don't know how long has it been since you've read the word of the Lord.
Sister, I still have my pocket Bible from when I stayed and was rescued by a sister in my hometown. So I'm well versed in the word.
Protestant?
Oscar's confused by that question, as well as Nick, because I don't know which way to go.
We're in a Catholic convent.
I look up at the book and go, "Oh, of mice and men," or whatever.
About 100 years too early, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, first book of Game of Thrones.
yeah. It's Curious George. What's this doing here?
All right, so you just grab a random book off the shelf.
Hey, I'm gonna grab it. Would this work, or do you have any other recommendations?
No, that's fine. That's fine. There's with you being part of this research project, I think a book on castles makes considerable sense. I would ask that it be returned promptly in the morning.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and you said your friend is in the restroom?
Yes.
Well, I think we should fetch him. We've got 10 minutes.
Fair enough. I'm going to grab 3 more for my friends and just say, these are for the guys. And I'm just going to walk out.
Okay. Castles Volume 1, Volume 2.
British castles. Very British castles. More very British castles. All right, Ian, you have a knock at the bathroom door.
I have
5
finished
minutes.
up. I am cleaning everything that needed to be cleaned and tidied. Left it better than I found it. Come out. Wonderful. And
so, gentlemen, allow me to take you back.
Oh, thank you very kindly. And Oscar, I see you found reading for all of us this evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah. This is the Encyclopedia MN, MT, and MR. I don't know.
All right. Evening plans. It is now 9 o'clock. You are expected to stay in your rooms.
We are not locked in even after the curfew.
Nope, there's very clear expectations, but there is no physical barriers that are keeping you in that room.
Well, gentlemen, we can either wait for something to happen or try to figure out something about that damn orphanage.
Did we get any information on how long we would be allowed to stay? Because I believe initially Mother Superior was like, "You get today, and then we'll see." And we didn't get a chance to talk with her afterwards.
I think a week is what you've been given. So
Okay.
yes.
I think for tonight, we're already pushing their boundaries by being here. I think tonight we leave the door a little open to hear if anyone's moving around when they shouldn't be, but otherwise low profile.
How about Anastasia?
Anna's going to stay in the room. Anna, given the events of the day and the investigations that have occurred, she is going to take out her memento, which is her manuscript of basically the old ways, magic, and Vaesen, passed down through her family through generations. And she's going to try and cross-reference the information learned about the events here, specifically about children, about birds and their role in folklore, which was my advantage.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so let's go ahead and
And
use
mischief.
that.
Mischief was the other one. So mischief, children, and
Right. What do we find? So going through and cross-referencing with the preparation that you had using your advantage, which is a actual mechanic in the game, and also remind me, the memento, does that clear a condition?
I believe it does.
Am I remembering that correctly?
I think so.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Let me double check, but I'm
yeah, if someone can
pretty
check while
sure.
Robert and I talk about this. So
I got it.
Robert, you don't have, there's nothing in it that hits all those notes, right?
Sure.
But let's go ahead and give some value to this advantage. The idea of ravens and crows does in folklore tie to portents of injustice, is often tied to that. There's talk of, say, a murderer's grave. It would often say would be where the ravens and crows would perch, right? And that's all throughout your folklore. So that ties there. Now for the children, there's really, I don't think there really is anything about the children there. Now, the one thing I will also note, which you may already know, but traditionally, and if anybody would know this, it would be you. Traditionally, the midwife is probably going to be your folklore source, right? She is likely to be the one that would know stuff that is very localized here. So yeah, let's leave it at that. So
Okay.
portents of injustice with the birds, and then like I said, you probably already knew this, but I think talking to the midwife might be kind of your best bet for getting more.
Great.
All right. So the four of you fall asleep. Not very comfortable beds, gentlemen. I apologize.
Oh, Ian's definitely like tossing and turning to get that
Yeah.
get that right. Like, no, it's in the back. No, roll over. But dealing with it with very good breeding British stoicism.
Oscar's snoring. He's that guy. For sure.
So-
I
was
think
Charlie.
is too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just is trying to push Oscar around, like, just stop already.
And we're in sync too. It's like this perfect
Nice.
harmonized snore.
Anna, you wake up. You're not quite sure why. And you're a little disoriented. You were in a very, very deep sleep. And it takes you a second to realize why. Somebody is sobbing outside your door.
What kind of voice does it sound like?
It's hard to tell. Really hard to tell. Because it's kind of a muffled sobbing, I think it's difficult to really know, but and it sounds like when somebody who is trying to conceal the sobbing, so it's not a wailing or anything like that. It's kind of noise.
Okay. Anna will grab her handbag from the nightstand, and then walk to her valise and pull out her dagger, her knife, and kind of palm it underneath and open the door with her handbag hand and peek her head through.
You open the door, and the sobbing is louder as the door opens. Based on the sound, especially when the door opens, whoever is sobbing seems to be right outside your door. And you slowly open it, and there's nobody there. But you can hear the sobbing right in front of you.
Anna first says, "Bollocks," and then looks kind of like directly in front of her at the nothingness, and addresses it and says, "Dear, would you like to come in and talk about it?"
No response.
Still sobbing, though?
Still sobbing.
Thought not. Fine. And she'll shut the door. Still hear the sobbing, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And out of the handbag, sprinkle some salt, sits down cross-legged, puts the knife in front of her.
So before we do this,
Crystal balls.
What did you find, Roman? Was I right about the memento? Was my memory right?
No, it doesn't say anything about him.
Interesting. I don't know why. I must one of the other 15 game systems
Yeah.
I run.
It says they're important and like you can.
Gotcha.
They're important
Okay.
to your character. I didn't see anything mechanically about them.
So you can do whatever you want with them, Greg.
Got it. No, you're still frightened. I still have
That's
that
fine.
condition in place. Let's end the session and with a seance roll, and we'll start episode 3 based on the results.
Fantastic. All right. Adding a die for the crystal ball, and here we go. Of course. You know what?
You used too much of that salt for the soup.
You know
had
what?
The worst luck with this.
We're gonna push it.
All right.
There we go.
You
Oh,
got your
that
one.
was
All right.
close.
So we will start episode 3. Based off of this success, I will make a decision about your second of 4 mental conditions that you acquired for this push. We're going to quickly go to credits. We'll be right back. All right. So we're going to keep this short because we've been running long. Let's go straight to Stars and Wishes. So this is something that I have taken from the Gauntlet group and the Gauntlet podcast. I ask each of the players for their stars, which is just key moments, moments during the session today that they just that really stood out for them that they loved, and that could be something that another player did, something that happened during the game, a point of where we stopped playing and we were there in this convent. And then wishes is when the player gets to share with the table what they're really wishing to happen in the next episode or two. So in the next session or two, what do you as a player hope to see? Let's start with you, Robert.
Ooh, all right. Stars for me. So first thing I want to call out is I love the way Nick has managed to make Oscar have two personas, the doddering old man that is not who he actually is, but leverages that at every advantage he has because the old man's a lot sharper and a lot wiser and a lot more with it than everybody else around him thinks, aside from our group, right? And so all of the old man snooping around moments that have gleaned excellent information, I have greatly appreciated throughout this session has been a big star moment for me, or moments.
Very
I
cool.
would say.
And what are you wishing for, Robert? What are you wishing for in the next session or two?
I'm wishing for two things: a little bit of enlightenment and a little bit of action.
Okay.
And that doesn't necessarily mean, and I don't necessarily mean combat, but I mean catalyst type. Ooh, let's raise the stakes and let's let's blow off some of this steam from all this tension building up.
Very cool. How about for you, Nick? Stars and wishes.
Stars, definitely the moment when Robert had Anna do her seance at the grave, and the roles were, exciting and sad, but then happy again, and then oh no, what's the conditions going to do to her, and so I think that's been an awesome moment, at least for me, for this episode. And then wishes, I'm ready for that next, like what Robert said, to blow off the steam. That tension is there. I'm ready to commit Oscar in a direction that may or may not get us kicked out of this place or have to face some sort of repercussions, right? I mean, we're really kind of walking on eggshells to kind of get another night, and then at some point we're just going to have to say screw it and start going after something. And I'm excited for that moment because I think we're almost there.
Yeah. How about for you, Roman?
For star moments, again with Nick, like everything you're doing with that personification, but also I'm loving how Anna is wearing the mask in the convent of just like, don't ask, I'm just a normal regular person. But even by doing that, it's still like, nah, this itches. I can't wear this for too long. But like but still showing that there are multiple ways to be good, and that like she's not Christian in this situation, but is still showing a lot of empathy to a stranger, the constable and his wife, and how all that is feeding into, ooh, there's a lot of puzzle pieces here in this mystery, which as a whole group, like we just did a whole session and had 3 rolls?
Yeah.
And that has not affected the tension buildup at all. Like,
good.
It's great. I love it.
Good. All right. So what are you wishing for?
Agreed on in the course of a horror or a mystery, like we've had a couple little transgressive moments, but we haven't gotten there's the next crumb that we're following. In my head, like if this is Jaws, we've dealt with, hey, there's a shark, and I'm waiting for the scene of, wait, you kept the beaches open? Like we're not on the ship yet. We're not hunting the shark yet. but we're going, wait a second.
I need to
I
talk
don't-
to the mayor.
Yeah, I don't care that the nuns are like, no, everything's fine. Like, no, there's a thing.
Very nice. And how about for you, Vasiliev? Stars and wishes.
It is easy to give it out to Oscar, and I'm going for a hug moment. That's my favorite. But for me, the character I loved was the Constable Falk. It's that was great. I really like that interaction. Gave us a lot of small clues, and his character is just awesome. So I love that the part when he arrived to finishing with the discussion and the small backstory of him and his wife with Anna. That was great. Loved it.
Good. And wishes.
Wishes. I wish that in the future we will see what the Mother Superior. Maybe she is mean for a reason. Maybe she's choosing lesser of two evils, and she needs to keep this facade to not let things go out of hand too much.
Very interesting.
That's a thing.
All right, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, do the whole thing. There's a Patreon. But if you want to bet, you do not want to miss episode 3 of this, because I think we're going to see some wishes fulfilled and probably very early on. So you can always keep track of the schedule by following Third Floor Wars on Twitter and Instagram as well. Gentlemen, I cannot wait.
I'm excited.
Take care, all.
Take care, y'all.
Yeah.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.